In this world, breeders can train their pals, aka dragons, via a special bond known as astral flow. Students come to the Answer-Riven Dragonar Academy to learn how to tame and ride dragons. Our protagonist, Ash Blake, wakes up from a rather lewd dream where he's seduced by a mysterious woman. Ash is known amongst these students as a problem child, since his pal hasn't been awakened yet. This leads him to often get bullied by other classmates. What they don't know is that Ash is hiding a huge Saikoku on his right arm, which essentially marks him as a future dragon master. Even though Ash doesn't have a pal, he does have the ability to ride other people's pals. During his dragon fighting practice, Ash accidentally rams his temporary dragon into Princess Sylvia Lautremont's dragon. Sylvia berates his non-existent pal for some reason. This makes Ash angry, who accepts Sylvia's challenge to a race tomorrow. As Ash sleeps, he dreams of the same woman yet again, who tells him that it's the last night, and she's about to awaken. Next day, the race begins, and Ash does his best to stay ahead of everyone else, but eventually loses the race. As Ash is resting his dragon in a jungle, he's ambushed by a man named Milgaus and his apprentice, Anya, from the Zephyros Empire. As Anya is chasing him, she falls down a cliff. As Ash tries to save her, she uses the opportunity to throw him down the cliff. As he's falling, his right arm starts to glow, and his pal is awakened in the form of a human instead of a dragon. The girl wakes up and punches Ash for looking at her while she's naked. She calls herself a dragon and not a human. Ash decides to take her with him to his room. He realizes that she acts much differently than what he expected. Next day, the president of the class visits Ash to check up on his pal. She brings some clothes that she can wear. She tells Ash that the academy has asked Dr. Cornwell to conduct an investigation on the dragon girl. When Ash takes her for shopping, she eats an anther crepe that causes her to act rather lewd with him, drawing the attention of Sylvia, who scolds Ash for feeding her anther, an alcohol-like substance. Later, she apologizes for what she said about his pal earlier before leaving. Realizing that the girl is nameless, he names her Iko. This makes the marking on his right arm glow as the bond between them is complete. Later, Iko is kidnapped from the ladies' room. Sylvia tells Ash to use the astral bond between them to locate her. Ash does so and follows the butterflies guiding him towards her. Ash and Sylvia reach a lab where Iko is being held captive by Dr. Angela Cornwell. She's not willing to let Iko go as she intends to perform experiments on her. She uses magic to knock everyone unconscious, but Ash doesn't give up. With his astral flow restored, he uses it to defeat her and take Iko with him. Next day, he's surprised to learn that Dr. Angela is now his homeroom teacher. The class president, Rebecca, asks Ash to become a member of the student council in a rather sexual way. She tells Ash that he might be of help to the council since he ran into the two folks from the Zephyros Empire. Even though Anya tells Milgaus the academy isn't a threat, he launches an attack on the academy with a monstrous dragon. Rebecca attacks, but he regenerates from the attack. Sylvia loses focus, so Ash has to slap her to bring her back to reality. She summons her dragon so Ash can ride it and save Iko from the tentacle hentai monster. Iko passes out and wakes up in a dragon workshop. She meets a woman called Navi, the same woman who appeared in Ash's dreams. She tells Iko that they are fighting a dead dragon that has been resurrected. Navi tells Iko that to defeat the dead dragon, he'll need his arc. Navi tells Iko to craft the arc using the designs available to her. Iko creates an arc for Ash and sends it his way through the astral link between them. With his new suit, he attempts to ride the dead dragon. He uses the divine sword to slay the dragon and purge the darkness. With Iko saved, Ash and Sylvia decide to join the council. Sylvia remembers the time when a boy carried Sylvia when her leg was injured during the orphan rites. This is the rite where a mother dragon gives humans baby dragons as their pals. Sylvia doesn't know that the boy was Ash. Rebecca introduces Sylvia and Ash as the newest members of the council. After his speech, Ash notices fan posters about a Silver Knight. It turns out that Ash has sprouted a fan club when he slayed the dragon. Fortunately, his fans don't know the real identity of this Silver Knight. When they're taking a class, Silver Knight fangirls interrupt them and ask about his whereabouts. They also disclose their plans about burying his children, much to Iko's dismay. Their club president, Jessica, is sent away by Rebecca. Rebecca tells Ash that if she were to marry Ash, an arc-wearing breeder, she can become a noble. This explains her obsession with Silver Knight. Rebecca also tells everyone about the arrival of first Princess Veronica, the sister of Sylvia, though she's not happy to hear about this as she regards her sister as a tyrant. Ash notices her condition, so Sylvia's maid tells them how Veronica made sure that Sylvia went through that toughest training. The training broke Sylvia and she came to fear her older sister. Later, Sylvia remembers that she made a promise to that boy that she will be an upstanding knight. This gives her the courage to be at the arrival of her sister. Veronica arrives in her Imperial airship. Veronica senses that something's wrong with Sylvia and attacks her. It's revealed that it's actually Cosette, Sylvia's maid, while the real Sylvia was hiding. Sylvia berates her sister for being weak and humiliates her by stripping her. Ash intervenes and tells her apprentice Glenn to seize him. Meanwhile, Anya the spy hears about the arrival of Veronica and heads to the academy. Ash is made to wear a suit upon the orders of Veronica. Until the reason is disclosed, he's stuck with her maid, Prim, who turns out to be extremely clumsy. Later, he's forced to have a bath with Veronica, Angela, Iko, and Sylvia on the ship. Sylvia doesn't want to get engaged as she has ambitions of becoming an arch-Dragonar. Ash covers for her and says that she was a help in killing that dead dragon. Veronica decides to let Sylvia prove the value of her dream by winning a match. The match begins, but Sylvia is knocked off by her dragon. She wakes up to find Ash near her. Glenn comes to visit her on Veronica's orders and tells her that her sister wants her to offer prayers of repentance for her lack of ability. Later, Rebecca informs Ash about a terrorist known as Avdocha that has infiltrated the academy and made an assassination attempt on Veronica in the past. So he keeps his guard up in case she shows up. During her prayer, Sylvia is attacked by a bunch of terrorists, including Avdocha. Avdocha holds Sylvia and Jessica hostage and threatens to bomb everyone in the church. She demands Veronica's head and says that she will execute a person each time the church bell rings. Veronica says that she's prepared to bomb everyone in the church if need arises, which shocks Ash. Jessica decides to reveal that she's a noble in order to preserve Sylvia's noble identity. Her sacrifice buys her time. It turns out that Anya is also among the hostages. Veronica sends Ash to Avdocha for negotiation upon Rebecca's suggestion. This way he can buy them some time as they attack from below. Akdok reveals that she's out here looking for her sister. When she refuses to surrender, Ash tells Iko to prepare an arc already for him to wear via Astral Link. Meanwhile, Navi tells Iko that her true form is yet to be revealed. Meanwhile, Anya nurses a baby. The baby's crying attracts the attention of Avdok, who decides to execute Anya and the baby. Sylvia intervenes and finds the courage to stand up to Avdok. Veronica's team also make their way into the castle from below and take out the terrorists. Ash transforms into his new arc and fights Avdok's dragon. With his new weapon, he renders the bomb useless by freezing it. Ash's identity is revealed in front of Jessica, and she makes a move on him, but she's kicked out by Iko. Later, it's revealed that Avdocha is Veronica's agent and was told to do all this by Veronica so she could correct her sister. Ash is picked to go on a training camp by Rebecca. During the approval ceremony, he learns of Luca, the secretary of the student council who hasn't been seen at the academy for 3 months. Meanwhile, Rebecca and Ash learn about a fire emergency at the school that turns out to be a smoke from a joss stick that a girl burned for incense. That girl turns out to be Luca, who has also been picked for the training camp. She's an Ekbaldian, a fairy from the forest. She also happens to be the youngest Dragonrar in history. She reveals that she's having problems with riding her pal, Gawain. Gawain's life could be in danger if the astral flow between Luca and him is interrupted for too long. Anya has become a maid in the school to spy on everyone. Meanwhile, Iko tells Ash about a nightmare she had. To make her feel safe, he sleeps beside her. Next day, Rebecca tells Ash that he should ride Gawain to make a connection with him and understand why Gawain is not letting Luca ride him. Ash takes Luca with him so she can ask why Gawain isn't letting her ride him. Gawain roars at her and Luca runs away in despair. Ash changes into his arc form to ride Gawain. However, Gawain attacks him. Ash passes out after the attack. They decide to put the matter aside for now. Ash convinces Luca to go with them to the training camp so they can rehabilitate Gawain. Later, Milgaus comes to meet Anya, who tells him about the training camp. Next day, everyone heads to the camp and Anya comes along as one of the kitchen staff. At night, Ash follows Luca, who tries to talk to Gawain once again. Gawain refuses to talk, so Ash decides to force him to talk. As Gawain chases Ash, he jumps on him and tries to ride him. However, Gawain launches him away, which causes Ash to pass out. Anya, who was watching this scene from a distance, decides to intervene and save Ash's life. Ash wakes up in another realm where he meets Navi. Navi tells him that she brought him here to explain how Gawain feels. He meets the spirit of Gawain, which is in a juvenile form. It's revealed that Luca fell off Gawain's back while riding him 3 months ago. Since then, she's had a fear of riding him. If she were to ride in that state, it would be deadly for her. So to save her, Gawain has been rejecting her. Gawain now only has 5 days left to live. Navi sends Ash away with a kiss. Ash wakes up and explains the situation to Luca. Meanwhile, Dr. Angela stumbles upon a hidden chamber and finds a banned book. As she reads it, Milgaus and Anya show up. Angela recognizes Milgauss as Julius before being knocked unconscious. Luca tells everyone that Gawain has gone missing. Rebecca deduces that he must be at the Willingham Mausoleum, the place where young dragons are buried. Ash, Sylvia, and Eiko go to help find Gawain. Milgauss resurrects a horde of dead dragons to attack the team. The team defeats the dragons, but they march towards the camp. At the camp, Rebecca and the students fight them. As the group moves forward, they find Gawain, but Milgauss is also there. Upon hearing his voice, Sylvia has flashbacks of her brother. Milgauss resurrects a large dead dragon. Meanwhile, Eiko visits the spirit workshop to craft another arc for Ash. With his new arc, he battles Milgauss as Sylvia fights the dead dragon. Ash uses petrification magic on his dragons, but Milgauss proves to be stronger than that. Ash's arc begins to wear off, so he petrifies his left fake arm and punches Milgauss as a last-ditch effort. Meanwhile, Sylvia defeats the dragon and the group tells Milgauss to surrender, but he runs away. Luca thanks him for helping her and Gawain and gains the confidence to ride her pal. With the astral link restored, Gawain begins to breathe again. Meanwhile, everyone at the camp is overwhelmed by the number of dragons. Luca returns to the camp with her dragon and eliminates all the dead dragons. Milgauss reports everything to a mysterious person. At the academy, Sylvia's father invites her and her friends to the capital. Sylvia, Ash, and Eiko are invited to the Centennial Congress that is held every 5 years between the leaders of the 5 nations. Upon reaching the capital, Sylvia meets her father, who tells her that he invited them all for something important. She asks her father what her brother Julius was actually executed for. His father questions why she would even ask that. Sylvia notices that he's lying about Julius's execution. Meanwhile, Eiko and Ash explore the capital accompanied by a maid. Eiko notices that Ash is looking at couples and is jealous of them, so she allows Ash to hold her hand. Later, Ash meets Sylvia's father, who makes Ash a Dragonar for his achievements. Meanwhile, Anya meets Milgauss and Klaus, a part of Zephyros nobility. They plan to force Eiko to transform into her true form using a machine. Anya is tasked with capturing Eiko. Meanwhile, Sylvia tells Veronica that she thinks Milgauss can be their older brother. Veronica tells her not to tell anyone about this. Everyone's getting ready for the ball when Sylvia pays Ash a visit and tells him that Milgauss is Prince Julius. She's stressed by all that, so Ash consoles her. Lightning strikes and Sylvia jumps at Ash in fear. Before they can kiss, they hear a knock. Meanwhile, the main prim realizes that Eiko might have feelings for Ash and reminds Eiko that she's a dragon while Ash is a human. This makes Eiko run away in despair. She cries when she realizes that they can't be together. Later, she runs into Anya and her henchmen while Prim comes looking for her. Ash attends the ball after telling Cosette to look for Eiko. They see Klaus and Milgauss at the ball. They can't do anything yet because Klaus was invited to the ball. Sylvia asks Milgauss for a dance and asks him if he's her brother. Milgauss doesn't answer. After the ball, Prim tells everyone that Eiko was abducted. Sensing Milgauss is behind this, they plan their move. Meanwhile, Klaus awakens Eiko's true form, which causes the machine to explode. Ash senses that something bad is happening to Eiko. Eiko's terrifying new form is revealed. Meanwhile, Veronica confronts Milgauss, who reveals that he's actually a dark spirit, Mordred, that has taken over the body of Julius. He planned to use humans as livestock to consume their astral energy. He resided within Julius's dragon, which led him to kill the dragon. He plans to take over Eiko's body to begin his rule. With Julius's body freed, he joins Veronica and others to stop Mordred. After taking over Eiko's body, Mordred asks Navi to join him so he can be reborn as the Dark King, but she refuses. Meanwhile, Ash and Julius get on a ship to battle Mordred, but the ship is severely damaged, and Ash and Julius are forced to abandon the ship. Ash jumps on Eiko's body to ride her. Eiko finds herself in a cage. Navi tells her everything that's happening. She says to prepare an arc for Ash so he can free her. As Ash falls off, Luca comes to save him. Everyone else also comes to the rescue to buy him some time. Ash jumps on Eiko's body, but Mordred launches an attack. Before he can be hurt, his new arc manifests. He summons a sword and cuts off a horn, which forces Mordred out of Eiko's body. With Mordred defeated, Ash embraces Eiko. Meanwhile, Advok finds her sister Anya in the dungeon. Ash recovers following the incident, and Eiko reveals her feelings for Ash as they kiss. And that's the end of the video. As always, if you liked what you saw, subscribe to the channel. I'll be uploading a lot of videos just like this, so I'll see you at the next one.